In the morning, Aslı gets up early and washes her face. There is some honey, cheese, butter and milk for breakfast. At that time, Tekir comes. He wags his tail and meows. He wants some milk. The grandfather gives him some fresh milk. Aslı and her grandfather have breakfast. And then they go out because her grandfather is going to show her his bees. In the garden, a lot of bees are buzzing. Some are flying. Tekir is running after them. Aslı asks her grandfather, "Grandpa, what do honeybees do? Where do they live? How can they fly? How do they make honey? Can you tell me about them?" The grandfather says, "Certainly, my honey. Honeybees are hard-working animals. They work very hard. They have got wings, so they can fly from one flower to another. Bees can see flowers easily." Look at a bee, Aslı. You can see only 2 eyes, but a bee has got nearly 12,000 eyes. You can see them under a microscope. A bee has got 2 stomachs. One is the honey stomach, the other is the real stomach. Bees sometimes swarm. Queen bees lay many eggs. These eggs hatch into worker bees. Hives become very crowded. Old bees leave hives. An old queen usually lives with them. They fly in a swarm to a tree. A beekeeper watches his swarm. He doesn't want to lose his bees. He brings a new hive. He shakes the bees into a basket and puts them in the new hive. The bees do their jobs. They live together in the hive happily, says the grandfather. Aslı says, "Thank you, Grandpa. I understand that honeybees are social animals because they don't live alone. They live together. They have got stings, so they can protect themselves against enemies. They can rule themselves because they have got queen bees. By the way, may I ask you a question about queen bees?" "Yes, of course," answers the grandfather. Aslı asks, "Has a queen bee got a crown?" The grandfather laughs and says, "You are joking. They are not real queens. They are animal queens. They don't wear crowns." When the lunchtime comes, Aslı and her grandfather go home together. The grandfather cooks some chicken. Aslı sets the table. She puts 2 spoons, 2 forks and 2 plates on the table. She brings some salt and pepper. And then she makes salad. She slices 2 tomatoes. She peels some onions and a cucumber. And she slices them too. Her grandfather grows them in the garden. Aslı sits at a table, but she doesn't eat anything. She waits for her grandfather. Her grandfather comes and sits at the table. He has lunch. Aslı has lunch too. They have lunch together. After lunch, they leave home. The grandfather is going to show Aslı the animals on the farm, but Tekir doesn't go with them. He stays at home and sleeps.